Hey guys, it's Alan here at the Rusty Hubcap Forge. Uh, just thought I'd give you a quick update on what's going on with me. It's been since last September with the press build that I made a video. Been very, very busy with work, side work. My woodworking is the side work. And still working on getting together some of the tooling and so forth that I need to forge. Have managed to learn how to make hammers. Not the best at it. They're turning out pretty well. Tongs, punches are not a problem now. Some of the ornamental twists and so forth. And I just, wanted to catch up a little bit and show you what's up in the shop here. I'm going to switch you around. Latest edition, you've all seen the old forge over there, is the New Holland anvil. Couple editions as far as anvils. Loving it. It's been very nice to work on. It's nice to have a new anvil. Peter Wright was a great anvil, but I just wanted something nice, crisp, clean, and new. Another addition to the shop is a South German double horn, 664 pounds. A gentleman by the name of Todd Hoffman has become a very decent friend. Sold this to me for a very decent price. It does have a little sway in it, and we're doing a restoration on that slowly but surely. And we picked up a machinist swage block. Good for its purpose. Not quite what I wanted, but price was right, and came with a lot of Hardy tools underneath. Also, while I was at more of what I wanted as far as the swage block was from Holland Anvil. Great people up there. I would recommend them. Forge press still there. Still work in progress. Got some deflection problems, and we're working on that as soon as I get some little more time. And I'm going to start getting into coal. We added a small forge, and I'll be playing around with that and learning that. Also added a larger drill press for drilling out spring swages and so forth, things like that. Working on a old Delta Rock, well, it's an old Rockwell 14-inch metal bandsaw, vertical. And my obsession with post vices. Tried my hand at a pair of Ultimate tongs. They're not the prettiest. Modeled after Hammer Eye tongs, and everything's off a little bit. So that was a big jump going from making two pairs of, what are they called? What are these tongs called again over here? I can't remember anything. It's very late at night. Wolf Jaws, that's them. I had to look at them. So those were the first two pairs of tongs I made, were Wolf Jaws that I sent off to help some friends out. Really, the biggest, late last year, early winter, I added that. The power hammer has been, for the short periods of time that I have to forge, has been invaluable. This one was made in 1996. It's an air hammer that I got from a gentleman up in Lansing, near Lansing, Michigan. He is a blacksmith and fabricator who does beautiful work. And he wanted to buy an Anyang, so I was able to acquire this. This was actually made in Lansing, Michigan back in 1996, when they still had the blacksmith program at the wheel plant. He was fortunate enough to go through it. It's an 85-pound, somewhat controllable for an air hammer. It's not as controllable as say the self-contains or even a power hammer, but it gets the job done for me. Went to one bigger tanks, of course, burning through those rather rapidly. Here is the big obsession. Everybody needs a vise, right? So my vise is hammers. Some of them are Smith made. Some of them are just mainly from flea markets and finds. I reface them, the different weights, different lengths of handle for purposes, different purposes, forging. A buddy of mine, several in here. There's Bob Bew from B&B Forge. Ting Ting from County Line Forge. I have several of his hammers. Well, 3 or 4. Diagonal Crossbeam from County Line. Love it. And one of my prides and joys, and I'm so scared to use it, is this carved hammer in a dragon's head from Hans at Charming Hollow Forge. I also have a 2-pound rounding square from him that I use frequently that I have temporarily misplaced. Another buddy that's more local is Zach Royer. He makes a wonderful hammer, and this is his rounding hammer. And you ought to check him out if you're looking. He's very reasonable. James makes some really nice hammers, so does Hans and Bob. And get to go play with Zach Royer every now and then, not too often. No, actually, I haven't made it over there except to pick up the big flatter. Woodworking is still going on. I'm still doing some fabrication work and bought a new lathe for the mallets that I make, the new line of mallets. They are a rounding mallet, and I don't have any of them in the shop right now. They're all sent out. Grinder's back over there. I got tired of trying to reinvent the wheel and rebuild metal bandsaws, so I saved my money. And Harbor Freight, great saw. It's fairly well abused. Does have coolant, automatic shutoff on a micro switch on the back. Far leap from the old green machine they used to have. That is a Harbor Freight 17-inch drill press. Don't be afraid of them. They do work for their intended purposes. So, I have been requested by a few blacksmith friends to put out some content. I will be working on that as soon as I figure out how to link a camera and all that. So I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world. So that's kind of where we're at with the shop as far as building getting tooling together. I've got hammers that I've made cooking in the forge or normalizing on its last cycle. They'll be hopefully done by this next weekend. Got a little get together that I'm going to, and one of my friends will be there that I made a couple hammers for, and he's going to test them out and see what he thinks. And before I would even offer them, they need to be field tested. And I never, ever field test any of my own tools except for, the chisels, things like that, tongs. I like other people's, more experienced people to give me their advice so I can improve this craft. I love it. It has made a huge difference in my life. My wife likes that I can make things for her now, not only out of wood, but if she asks for a hook on a board, I can do it. And most of our living room furniture I've made and forged things for. It's actually been a lifesaver for me. I don't have a lot else to say. I'm so tired, but I will try and put out some content. Hopefully within the next 3 months, I will believe more towards fall. There's so much going on right now that I just don't have the time working a full-time job and also doing the other love and passion that I turned into a job. Don't do that if it's a hobby or something that you love that much, the woodworking. So I appreciate the 54 subscribers that I have off the press build. And I wanted to say thank you to the wonderful friends that I have in the Quad Squad and outside the Quad Squad. They know who they are. Great group of people. The community is fantastic. I couldn't ask for more. They're always there to talk, even if it's outside of blacksmithing. And several of them I have to meet yet. Met John Coffey. I get to meet, going to his place this weekend for a little bit for Sunday for a visit. And also going to Jeremiah Champs the following weekend for a little hammering, and get to finally meet some of these people. Last year was going to Quad. I couldn't make it, unfortunately, and there was one other one I couldn't make it to, health issues, and hopefully they're gone for a while, and I'll be able to again put out content and go to these hammer-ins that I'm missing out on so much. And I wanted to thank you guys for even wanting to follow me. I don't want to call myself a YouTuber. These videos and editing, and this is probably the most you're going to get out of me, is maybe, if I do put out a video, instructional video, if I feel that I'm good enough to do that, be very basic beginner things. I will never do live chats, or live feeds. Just not my thing. And if you have any questions for me, please put them in the comments below. You can also reach me on Facebook, Messenger. Happy to meet people and go from there. Well, you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful, Thursday night, and weekend's coming up, and excited about it, and have a wonderful Memorial Day off. Catch y'all on the next one.